We welcome you to another edition of Inside the Doghouse. This afternoon, we are joined by Associate Athletics Director for Academic Success and the Senior Women's Administrator for our Bloodhounds Athletic Department, Deanna Sannuti. Deanna, thank you so much for joining me. How are things on your side of New York?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, everything's great. We're getting ready to have our student athletes back on campus in another 2 weeks. So super excited for that. And it's going to be a great semester.
Cannot wait to see what goes on in the next couple of weeks as summer is beginning to wind down here. Really crazy how summer has gone so fast. But the main purpose of our chat here this afternoon is very simple. What did you do throughout the summer? And Deanna, you have done something that a lot of folks say that they may never do, they might not be able to do, but you were able to do it pretty early on in your life, and you went to South Africa. Deanna, I have to ask you this question. I'm sure a lot of folks are asking this question too as they're watching this. How did this all come about?
Yeah. So I've always wanted to, go to another country, volunteer. I love sports. So I wanted to bring my passion for sports to other areas and, teach kids the skills of different sports and just really make them fall in love with sports. So I was sitting in my hotel room at the softball NCAA tournament, and I was looking through volunteer programs, and I found one through International HQ. I applied. The next day I got in, and next thing I know, I'm going to South Africa within, like, I think less than a month. And it was just like a surreal process. And I didn't think I was going to do it, but I said, if I don't do it right now, then I'm never going to do it.
It's really remarkable because there are a lot of folks out there that want to volunteer in different countries, simply do not have the financial resources to do so, and some simply they're just not able to do it at all due to other reasons. It's really remarkable to see folks and people like you, Deanna, to want to do that and to play with these kids. And we will show throughout our episode of Inside the Doghouse what Deanna has done. But is this the first time that you have done this program like this, or any volunteer work in other countries?
In other countries, yes. This is my first time pretty much out of the country by myself, which is crazy because I picked a place that it was a 20-hour plane flight. So nothing like too close. But yeah, but like back home, like on Long Island, yeah, I've done multiple volunteer opportunities. After school programs over the summer, I coached Little League. So I figured, you know what, let me just try something a little bit bigger. And it was the best thing I could have done.
You look at the journey that you took, and some of the stories that we've heard from you. You got a chance to play with a lot of these kids. You've gotten a chance to see different sight lines as well. Really amazing stuff, Deanna. And when you go to South Africa, there's just so much to do. Obviously, as you know, you've been there. You've got the safari. You've got those volunteer opportunities. And for you, what was your biggest takeaway from going to a different continent, let alone on the almost the other side of the globe?
I think the biggest takeaway is we put so much pressure on ourselves, and like with all the technology and everything, and we want to do our best and everything. And I think going over there, like, I walked into the room and the kids were so happy. They just run right up to you and they give you the biggest hug, and they don't want you to leave. And they have like little to no resources. And I think that's like the biggest thing is they're just the happiest kids. And, the people in the town, they're so nice. They come right up to you, and they really get the chance to know you. So I think, if we could just take a step back and just recognize, and it really does give you, another perspective of life.
When you look at some of the shots that you were able to capture down there in South Africa, I'll start with this. Where in South Africa were you? Anywhere near Johannesburg, or anywhere around those that geographical area?
Kind of. So I landed in Cape Town. The placement was in Muizenberg, which is about 40 to 45 minutes from Cape Town. And then the school was called Steinberg. So that's where they had elementary, middle, and high school all in one. So it was a pretty big school.
And when you were down there, you get a chance to play looked like soccer, some basketball with some of these kids. This is obviously, and you brought up just a few moments ago about how they don't have the resources to do certain things or play certain sports or whatnot. Soccer and basketball are the two sports that they really harp on, I'm guessing.
Correct. Yeah. So while I was down there, one of our days that we had to do a basketball skills. So we took all of the grades starting with I think it was third grade, and they had to shoot a basketball and dribble and pass and go around cones, and they would get graded on it. So it was really big over there in soccer. All you really need is just a ball, so you can pretty much just kick around and play soccer anywhere you are. So I think that's like the 2 biggest sports over there, like you said.
Some of the sight lines that you were able to take in for yourself, really remarkable stuff. You were able to see certain, it looks like from our vantage point when you had sent us some of the photos, climb a few mountains, see these gorgeous sight lines, looks like possibly of the eastern portion of the Atlantic Ocean or potentially on the other side of it. Again, my geography is not great, but seeing those sight lines, what was that like for you on a personal level to be able to absorb these once in a lifetime opportunities?
It was amazing. So I went alone, but
Yeah.
the placement in the house, there were 20 other people with me, and they were from like a bunch of different countries and like all over. And some were doing it for like personal reasons, some were doing it for study abroad. But I got close with a group of the girls that went, and every time we did something, we just like stopped and were like, "I can't believe I'm in South Africa." We got a chance to go to Table Mountain, which is a very popular mountain. We didn't get a chance to hike it just because it rained like the day before and it was too dangerous. But we took a cable car up there and we spent, like an hour or two just taking in the views. And they had a restaurant up there that we got to go to, and it was just amazing. And like I said, I still can't believe I went. It was just something that like amazing, and I always, scroll back in my pictures and I, take a look at them and just be like, this actually happened. Another place that we went to was Boulder's Beach, and it was all penguins, and I love penguins, so I thought like they were just hanging out on the beach and they went right into the water, and it's a big tourist spot, but it was a lot of fun. And I've never seen the views and like anything like that before.
Yeah, I was going to say some portions really of this country you don't get, or really this continent, you really don't get. You don't get to absorb those sight lines that you see in other parts of the globe. Really remarkable stuff. Deanna, just to close this out in the last couple of questions for you, when you got a chance to play with these kids and to really teach them and do these clinics and whatnot, talk about the relationships and really what you were able to build with these kids that do not have what we have been privileged to have all of our life.
Yeah, it was amazing. They listen, they want to learn. You teach them like a new skills, and right off the bat, they like adapt to it. And I was only there for a week, which it did break my heart to come back because I really wanted to stay longer. But the relationships I did make with the kids, like within that week, was just awesome. And you get to hear a little bit about their backstories. And I came back and I'm like, what could I do? I want to do more. And I was talking to Linda, who works like right beside me with the academic, and she does, SAC. And I'm like, we need to do some kind of like volunteer program or something with like our local kids around here. So we're hoping to get that going for this coming semester. But I want to do more. I reached out to a couple of schools back on Long Island where I live, and even in the city, like I'm trying to figure out what I can do. And, I'm already planning when I can go back to South Africa.
Mm.
So I'm excited.
There you go. Some big news drop here, or some breaking news here, if you will. What is going on in the athletic department on the 4th floor of Heron Hall? Really remarkable stuff, Deanna. Thank you so much for joining us here on another edition of Inside the Doghouse. Really tons of fun chatting with you, and I'm really glad that we're able to learn more about this volunteer opportunity, as well as learning about what you were able to get out of this as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deanna Sannuti, the Associate Athletics Director for Academic Success and the Athletic Department's Senior Women's Administrator. I'm Joey Jarzynka for all of us here at the John Jay Athletic Department saying so long. We will see you all very soon. And for all the latest information about John Jay Athletics, please visit www.johnjathletics.com.